Margery, Cedano. What's
Hi.
good? Already giggling. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, feeling cozy and warm. I'm excited. It's my first like ever whatever like live situation this is.
It's real. It's real. You
Yeah.
gotta I don't know, try to get your truest energies for whoever watches these things. And I know you got that. You got that swirling for sure.
Working
Yeah,
at
that's a beautiful thing. You said all wonderful things, and
it.
I'm very excited to rap with you. I
Me
like talking to
too.
you. You got good
No.
shit to say, like 99% of the time. So
And
let's
what do
get.
I say that 1%?
I mean, you be bullshitting sometimes like everybody else.
You're right. I would
You
say
ain't
even
perfect,
more,
cuz.
maybe more than 1%. Like I
Yeah, definitely more.
appreciate
I just
I
gassing you up.
yeah, I appreciate the gas, but
We all need some gas to get where we going.
to get it
Oh
started.
boy, let's go. All right, so get into this thing. So start with some transparency. Uh, I had a crush on you back in like 2012, 2013. And I remember telling Jess, pretty sure it's Jess, like, told her, and she was like, yeah, like everyone has a crush on Marge. And she was right. Was not lying, as I learned. And so what I want to ask is like, what is it like to being a person that a lot of guys and probably girls too be like just crushing and making passes? Seems like it could be like kind of difficult.
I'm, like being thought of as attractive is great, but I've grown to understand that my beauty is kind of the part of me that I have the least ownership of. In a way
Mm,
that it's like it's subjective, it's for the world, like it's not really for me. But like my compassion, my sense of humor, like my commitment to social justice, like my education, like even my art practice and stuff like that, like that's really where I focus most of my energy. So, appreciation for the physicals appreciated. And but it's easy. It's like finding connections with people through like the other aspects of their being that's a bit more tricky. But when I'm subjected to shit on the train, hey yo ma, can I get your number? Hey yo ma, like constantly having to swat those flies and
those
it's
niggas.
like, I mean,
Skirt.
grant like I be curving people in ways that they don't even notice because I'm just like so
I love that.
because it's not. I'm grateful for it, and I know that like it's a privilege to be. And I've in the rooms that I've been in, like oftentimes I'm like, yeah, this is probably because the dude that was hiring me thought I was attractive. Like
Mm,
this is probably like we're probably at this party because like whoever was trying to get at me, and I gotta like stay away from them because I'm only here to bring my friends and dance.
right.
Um, so yeah, I mean, being a woman just in general in a world of like people trying to possess you and like control you and pick you up as a little like statue and put you up on a shelf is tricky. Like whether you're attractive or not. I think it's just like living humbly and just using it to like I don't know. I forget. I was mentioning this, like Helen of Troy, like the face that like launched 1,000 ships. Like that's power. Like that.
Facts.
That's power. And like really understanding that like beauty in that way, or just like in general, is powerful. It's like okay, well then how am I going to use it?
Mm,
Um, not to my event because hopefully love is in the cards, this like righteous love that extends beyond like the physical and all that stuff, but there's power in beauty. So yeah, it's hard, but how do we alchemize like all that tricky stuff? Like,
alchemize. That's a good ass word. That's really what it's about. Like
So I
transcending
have
that.
it here.
Hey, oh, that's
Yeah.
thorough.
Yeah. I mean, like, alchemy is kind of the way that I've been thinking about healing. Like, it's been like what I've been using as like a process for healing, because things that you can't control, or like pain or stuff like that doesn't go away. Like, nothing goes away. It just is transformed. So how do I,
Transmute it.
yeah. So like, what do I do with something that I can't control? Like, I can't, this face is this face and it's always going to be this face.
Hey.
So, so like what, so as much as I can like navigate this one, be like, yeah, it's fucking hard to have like, to be subjected to just beauty, or like have dudes hit on you all the time. It's like, well, what do I do with that to make it like not as detrimental to my well-being?
Wow, that was a beautiful answer. I could tell you
Was
definitely.
it?
I think so. Like from the beginning of like, it's not about what's outside. It's more like you said, the energy within, or your art practice, and then like using this energy to, like you said, transmute it into some positive. I feel like it's
Yeah.
probably so hard. I can't imagine. I'm not getting much attention in that regard. Like
But I mean,
these,
if you're a good person, like attraction or like physical appearance is what attracts people to you to begin with, right? Like, people are interested oftentimes in like how you look, and they're like, oh, let me go see what this person is about. If you got nothing inside you, it's useless.
uh,
It's kind of useless. So like, what would be the point to like be gifted? Because I didn't do shit for this face. I didn't do anything, but I was just born. Like, my parents are attractive. Their parents were attractive. Their parents were attractive, I'm sure.
it's in the blood,
Like, I
it's in the
didn't do
genes.
anything for it. So
Right.
like, my job, yeah, is to, use this shell as a way to attract like other good people.
Mm. Well, you seem to be very eloquent in that endeavor, and I wish you continued luck in your curving niggas and attracting positive energy, because that should be seeming like a full-time job sometimes from the outside looking in.
You get good
These
at
motherfuckers
it.
be wilding. Yeah.
You get good at it. It's just like, I mean, when I tell you that y'all just say the same thing. Like, y'all read from the same book. It's hilarious. Like, so it's not that hard, because I'm like, all right, if like I've learned what to say to one dude, like, you're all saying the same shit. So
Damn, shots at all motherfuckers.
I'm just,
All right.
oh, should we not curse? My bad.
No, it doesn't matter. You can curse all you want. I be trying to curse less, just because
Oh
that just
yeah.
feels like something I should do. But then I get to talking and they just be sliding out.
Then we get to, yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean,
like slide him. Yeah.
it is what it is. It is what it is. But thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely threw some game my way. Next, so I want to talk about like the restructuring of friendships as we grow old, right?
Mm,
So you and I, we were like really, really close friends for about like
yeah.
4, 5, 6 years. Then I went to Thailand, like
Right.
fell off a
Wait,
little bit.
what year was that? What year did you
I
go to
went to
Thailand?
Thailand summer 2016.
So, oh yeah, so that was when that was when I graduated. That was the
Mm-hmm.
year that we had graduated. Yeah.
Right. Living live, doing our thing.
Yeah.
We fell off a little bit. Then I came back and like we're cool, but like slowly over time, we just kind of fell off. And to the point I realized like, wow, like it's been like a year, some change. Like I haven't really talked to Marge.
Mm-hmm.
And like that kind of like messed with me a little bit. I'm like,
I'm
dang, like I
sorry.
ain't talked to Marge in a minute. Like, but it's also kind of how it is. And then I hit you up
Yeah.
like a week ago and it was like exactly the same. I was like, not one day passed, and that's just the energy it is. But like as we grew older, I had to like people have to restructure some friendships, some
Yeah.
relationships just aren't beneficial.
Yeah.
And with you is like it's kind of interesting thing because like you always would be my homie, my beloved. But we used to talk all the time, and now
Yeah.
we talk very sparingly. Which maybe we
Yeah.
could like slowly go the other way with that. That's what we'll talk about. But like, I guess the question I'm trying to ask you is like, oh yeah, what's your take on these evolving relationships as humans grow old? Like,
This was a question that I was sitting with for a while,
mm,
both like friendships and relationships, and then even thinking of like family members too, and like our responsibilities to just people in general. Um, and I feel like they're all, people say that like, what is like friendships and things are like the seasons and stuff. Like, I feel like every individual friendship is its own like plant and it's its own like gene,
mm,
it's its own species. And like one friendship is more like a succulent where you don't have to water it as much. You just put it by the light and it's chilling. It'll grow, it'll propagate like on its own, like it's
wow.
chilling. Or like, I don't know, there are some that are a little bit more fussy that you have to like move around, maybe put in a different like windowsill,
Bigger
bigger
pot, right?
pot, yeah,
Might
or
have to
like
prune it a
the
little bit.
roots, right? The roots are growing so much and like expanding that you have to put it in a bigger pot, meaning you have to give it like more love, more soil. Same you said, like pruning things a little bit. Like I feel like maybe we were. I think we were at like a pruning stage where we were like
Mm,
growing, like individually, still like building um,
everything.
creating new life, like individually, like you were doing some, and so was I. Like I just graduating, really trying to figure out where I was going, but like growing. Same for you, but there were parts that were shriveling up because there were things about us, about like who we were 10 years ago when we first started being friends, that were no longer like who we were.
Mm,
So it's hard to, especially for friendships or relationships that expand over a decade like ours does, um,
wow.
to figure out like, all right, how do we exist in these relationships as the new people that we currently are? And I don't think we really check in on people in that way as much as we should. And like, who are you now? Like, does the friendship that we had before still serve us? Like, are there
Right.
things from before that like maybe are hindering like our growth as like friends now? Um, and that's stuff that I've learned that I've had to do for like many relationships.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like people rarely like check in on
Yeah,
friendships, excuse me.
yeah,
It's been something me and my partner have been trying to do, like just have
yeah,
check-ins, and we haven't been 100% successful. But it's just like, where is your head at with us, your life, your growth, and that's the
mm-hmm.
thing that can be beneficial, but it's also, for me, it could be overwhelming. I feel like there's just like so many
Yeah.
things
Oh
of like
man.
to do in life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense that you know, friends can
And
fall off,
yeah,
but
I mean, even just with this, given this past year, the pandemic, like I was living alone. And I felt like, dang, I wish more people were checking in on me as I'm like living by
mm,
myself, like going through like, and going through, I was put through the fire last year. Came out like a phoenix, but like
hey,
rose like the phoenix from the ashes. But it was hard. But everybody was experiencing like their own version of hard.
exactly.
Um, and you have to step back from that and realize that like everybody is just their own person too, trying to like navigate what they're going through. And yeah, just be like, oh, checking on your friendships. You need water and you need light. You need a bigger pot.
I love that
Like, what's
metaphor.
going on? Like, what do we need?
Yeah, I think it's really amazing that like we can talk about this. Like, it's something I wanted to for a while, like with you specifically,
Yeah,
of just like where's your head at with this? Like, because I know I've like, and like you said, you've been by yourself for a year. Like, there's way too many times I thought about you. It was like I should hit up Marge, but like
yeah,
because like we hadn't really talked that much, I was just like, I don't know, what if, and then finally I did, and I was like, nigga,
And it's
like,
always love.
always
And it's
love.
always love.
It's always gonna be love.
And always truth too, and always honesty, like regardless. So
Yeah, I feel like not many people can talk about how like the trajectory of their friendship, especially when like, it used to be so strong, and it is still so strong. It's like just talking to you now, it doesn't feel weak, but like, we
yeah,
didn't talk that much in the past 2 years,
yeah,
which was a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I will say, like, there was a lot of just like having to reflect on myself too, and like who I was and what I was trying to do. Like, I was in a relationship as well, and like relationships can be encompassing, and that's a whole other thing. Like
Facts.
what are friendships when you're like in a relationship, especially with the opposite like sex, or like with like my relationships with like dudes, because I was hanging out with y'all like all the time.
Big facts.
But yeah, you get into a relationship and you're like,
All right. It's a hard
but
thing to navigate.
it's a hard thing to navigate. It's a hard balance to create. And I know I'm not always the best at like checking in either, because I just get consumed, and the world shit's just been rocking. Like
It's wild. It's wild out here.
it's been rough. And like you ever have those times when you like check on, you're like, yo, how are you doing? And then they tell you, you're like, oh, that's a lot.
Oh my god.
You're like,
It's like, woo.
like, whoa, man. Yeah.
Damn.
You're like,
Yeah,
dang.
yo.
Like, we
Yeah.
gotta meet up. Because you never know. You
Yeah.
really never know.
I just experienced that. I spent 2 weeks in Philly, just came back real quick, and just like trying to see as many people as I possibly can, and like everybody got the most going on. It's like, whoa.
And
I
you're
was
like, I got an
exhausted.
hour and a half.
Like, I was exhausted. Hit me up. Like, whew.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's a
man,
lot. And when you
it's a
like
blessing.
are a compassionate person, just like a friendly person, somebody that like likes to converse and likes to, like make space for other people's feelings, like it's easy to dive into like other people's emotions, and that then gets overwhelming just for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Big facts. Well, I feel
yeah.
honored to be able to talk about this. So thank you for that in general.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's dive into the origins, wild origins at least.
Oh,
Met you on Park Avenue, which was
Park Ave.
it was your freshman year, my junior year. And I feel like
Yeah.
it was like even before school started, like I saw you at a party. And
At your house though, right?
no. It was actually at Carmen's house.
Of the castle.
That's what they called it. Yeah, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck they
that's what
call
they
it.
call it.
Met you there, and I felt like immediately hit off. And that whole year, like I feel like you was at our house like at least twice a week. Like I'll come home from class, and you was just chilling on the couch like it was your crib, like like I'm a rag. But yeah, like what would I say? I'd like to hear your perspective on Park Ave.
So like my first time there, Steph actually brought me there. So it was like a party that y'all were having, and that's how Steph and I like first got connected. Actually, like
Wow.
our true friend. Yeah, because she had like reached out to me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, you're going to Temple? Like, I'm gonna be at this party. You should come." I'm like, "Okay,"
Let's
and it was at
go.
your crib.
Wow.
So and then from that, like, just so many friendships that I still hold dear to this day have blossomed from it. And like truly that was like the mecca of like where all of the connections that I currently have now like are from. Like I would say I would say so. But and it was so free. Like Naya was like my soul, just so much like gallivanting and like little, like spring. Yeah, so much gallivanting.
Just gallivanting all over.
Gallivanting all around. But I did watch like Naya's episode where she was also talking about like all of the toxic traits that we were, also projecting as well, because we, as young college students, were projecting this lifestyle that we thought we needed to project, and we thought we needed to have. And like, while it felt like fun at that time, like you look back on it and you reflect and you're like, we were a little careless.
Definitely.
And the lessons that we learned were because later on we could reflect on them. But like at the time, yeah, it was a time of a lot of like fun and then a lot of growth too. But I had to like exist outside of it to see that. Or even like there were times like Pussy Power came out of that. Pussy Power came out of this like constantly going into spaces where we like didn't feel safe. And it wasn't that like Park Ave didn't always feel safe. It was just this grander concept of like just not having safe spaces for women to enjoy themselves, with alcohol involved, with like dancing involved, because we just we weren't doing it.
Right. I think that's a perfect segue. Like Park Ave definitely existed in a much larger toxic culture that is college or is our society in general. And like you said, it was a blessing because like so many of my friends like seeded from Park Ave. Like Deuce, I'm like I didn't even know Deuce before we moved in together. Now, like I love that man. Like whatever, like so many friendships, so many. But yeah, it was like we was drawing, like, and that's just the energy of so many of these parties. But like you said, it led to Pussy Power, which y'all kind of tried to take your what's that word, sovereignty back as a collective, and that that was extremely powerful in its own right.
It was.
And so yeah, so tell me, what's up with Pussy Power? What is that? What was that? And I definitely want to hear also within this about like the evolution of you, because there's a lot of growth from like within that period, from like Park Ave to after like Margy was like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm interested to see that from somebody else's perspective too, because I feel like. What's that?
Interrupt. I said, let me know who you thinking though in the future.
No, I mean, for like, I'm talking to you, so like from you in particular, but it's just facts. Because I do remember like a part of me like speaking up more and being more like just dead set on like my morals, my values, and they were all centered around like autonomy, like Pussy Power, just like educating myself, just making sure that the spaces that we were around reflected like the people that we wanted to be, and like the spaces that we said that we wanted to cultivate. And yeah, Pussy Power started like we were like outside of 700 Club, and like Naya was on her way out. She was like moving to Seattle, and we were like, let's have a potluck. And I think Jules at the time was wearing like a Pussy Power shirt. We're like, let's have a potluck, and it'll be like all women, and it'll just be dope. And then Jules had her Pussy Power shirt. We're like, Pussy Power potluck.
Hey.
And when I tell you that it was magic, it was like I'd never been in a space like that. I think we were like in the early 20s, and in my early 20s, so I've never been in a space where it's just like all women just dancing freely, chatting, just like busting it up. Like, to have never felt that before, that was kind of like, You know, that was you don't
Mind
know what you
blowing.
don't know. You don't know what you didn't have or what you
Facts.
needed, because we're like, oh, why do we never have something like this?
Right.
Like, why or why do I not feel this way in other spaces? What is it about like other spaces that doesn't allow us to feel this free, this connected, or this just vulnerable, like amongst each other, because we're always on guard.
It's true.
You know, and that goes back to like that first question that you asked. It's like, yeah, it's great, but we're always on guard. And to live a life like that while you're trying to enjoy yourself, like to be on guard while at the same time in a space of joy, like how does that
Coexist.
yeah, how's you're like at the drop of a dime, you gotta
Right.
like tough.
That's tough. You're not
It's
lying.
tough. But yeah,
Mm.
that was the importance of that space and that time for us. And we realized that we, you know, had the art shows and the talks, is it just became more and more necessary and more crucial to have space, to make space and have it. Um,
Well,
but
yeah, I said this before with Jess, but yeah, like just like experiencing when I got to experience y'all and within that like loving energy, it was so
yeah,
powerful. Like obviously I'm a male, but like I could feel it easily. Like it was just a different type of freedom that y'all had when we're in the club at any moment, like some random dude could like try to grab you
yeah,
from behind, like you know what I mean? And it was very powerful, like kind of just like see y'all just like fully
yeah,
like blossom or explode your energy into each other with like
yeah,
with the feeling of safety. It was powerful.
yeah,
And I will talk a little bit about like my view of the evolution of Marge, where like
yeah,
I remember like from Park Ave, you were kind of just like looking at the world like, whoa, like y'all, wow, this is crazy. Like let's get like I want to have fun, like just kind of like feeling like you're like down for whatever, but also like kind of like, all right, like yeah, this is cool. All right, bet. And then like as the years went on, especially like with Pussy Power, you kind of like with the that group of girls, you kind of realize like what you wanted, what you deserved, and you found your voice on how to express to other people what that looks like. And you like demanded it. You're like, no, like,
yeah,
you're like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm a strong, wonderful human being. And like, we deserve to feel safe. We deserve to be loved and respected and not like feel like, uh, whatever I'm trying to say, but like, you just really like kind of you found your voice and it was powerful. It was definitely
yeah.
powerful. And like together, y'all, I hear you gearing up to say some shit. Let's go.
No, it's just like I was around powerful women. You know what I mean? Like you absorb the energy that you're around, and I was
Mm,
around like really like women because I was like one of the youngest, so like everybody's
mm,
at least like 3-4 years older than me. So I'm surrounded by women that are 3-4 years more into their like womanhood, into their like autonomy, into their voice, and like I'm watching like eyes open, ears open, like ready to go. Like ready to absorb, ready to like yeah, find my own voice and where I was gonna fit into that. But I will say I think in us having that space and like in us creating spaces for ourselves, we had to eliminate men as a whole in order to feel safe. That's a lot.
the
That's a
most.
lot. That's the most, right? And like really ideally what we want or what would be desired is like men taking accountability for each other, you know, selves, and allowing to be in those spaces and you know defend, like being that armor, being that defense against yourselves.
Right.
so that we don't have to be like, well, you know what? We're just not going to invite any of y'all ever to any of our spaces, because how does that really solve the problem of like how we coexist?
Yeah, yo, and I will say that as a man, I feel like most men will not like step up to other men in defense of a woman.
Why do you think that
And
is?
why do you think that is? That's a hard ass question. Um, why do I think that is? It's got to be some sort of like either like some. The first thing that came to my mind is like fear of
Of
just
what?
like fear of being like men are some men are scared to like step up to other men because for I guess for violent reasons, one, and also just because like the I guess the thought is like, why should I step up for someone who isn't me? You know, does that make sense? I don't know if that even makes sense, to be honest. That's a hard question. You kind of put me on the spot. But the other one I thought of is like just like lack of respect. Of like that's like a theme throughout of society that like men are not really taught to respect women or themselves really, but especially women is like so like the way I was taught. The first like my in fifth grade, my ringtone was "I Got Hoes" by Ludacris and
In
Nate
fifth
Dogg.
grade.
Fifth grade, sixth grade. Like I feel like everything we get taught is like to
Yeah.
consume
And
and
objectify.
to consume, objectify every video. So you're telling me that I'm going to make a sacrifice to protect a woman that I can put my I can cause harm to myself for that? Like
Yeah.
you have to have some sort of like centeredness and there's some bravery involved in that. And I would say that like pussy power helped me find that aspect of myself. Like I remember there's a time prior when like someone came up to me, some guy that I knew, touched her butt, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh, just like, and then that same thing happened afterwards, and I confronted this ball. I was like, yo, you are drawing, and like that can't be accepted here. Like we're gonna have to either fuck you up or you gotta leave.
Yeah, I mean, I really wonder what it is. Like, I am curious too, because men
Good
defend
question.
each other.
Right.
You know, like
A lot don't
the
though.
brotherhood. Well, I guess from what I can, from my understanding, like brotherhood and like manhood, like that's protected, right?
Right,
Like
right,
you've
right.
got loyalty to like your friends and your dudes and like whatever. But yeah, when it comes to defending women, it's just, I don't know what makes men think that like makes them look soft.
Yeah, I don't know, and I like it definitely kind of coincides with me with like just like the fact that families have been torn apart in our current society. Because I feel like thousands of years ago, tribal situation, it's like you are defending your tribe, the women in your tribe, regardless. You're giving it all out, and
You're
then
defending life, because if you defend women, you're defending
defending
life.
life
Like that's the part
exactly.
where I'm just like, I don't understand where like,
Yeah, I feel like like the societal ideals definitely have a part to play because even everything's so like every person for themselves these days. It's like people are so easy that if something is negative happening, it doesn't if it doesn't affect me, it ain't my problem. And I think
yeah.
that's why I'm getting
And that's been
a
a lot of like family traditions would be like, that's not my fam, like that's a different family, different, that's family business is what it would be like that's family, like no, homeboy is like beating the shit out of his wife. That is not
yeah,
family
like
business. That is
no,
abuse.
that's terrible. Like
That's
you must
abuse.
step in and make and do something now.
And yeah, and I think I, we've definitely done wrong by our women, and like um women are trying to do right by themselves, have always, will always. The power is in us to do so, but
Right. I got a message from the stars that said boys/men resent their mothers for their absent fathers,
Oh.
which I can think of some people in my life
Oh. They
that definitely
resent their
applies.
mothers for their absent fathers. So no father means no like fatherly figure, no like kind of
And you,
direction.
and you know, I think that I can see that within myself, to be honest. Like, you
Mm,
know, my father was not a good father by any means, and there's a lot of resentment with him. And my mom sacrificed everything. She did everything in her power to make sure that I could live a good life. But there was still like the parts of her that I deemed as negative. I would like feel some type of way about that.
you'd be like,
And I,
that's why my dad left.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, none of
No?
that.
Okay.
Nah, my dad left because he
No.
was just never matured past like
Yeah.
13. But just like, yeah, I would see, I could see my mom's negative qualities, and I guess maybe sometimes even magnify those. I just step back and be like, hold
Mm,
up, like this person did everything for me. Like I love her with every aspect of my soul, and like when she does something that maybe causes me harm, I gotta like take that and be like, okay, like nobody's perfect, but
mm.
that resentment, like yeah, it's true. Like that resentment from my dad definitely migrated to my mom, but she doesn't deserve any of it at all. So
Mm.
that's something. This is a complex topic. Like
It,
yeah,
it it is, and like that person meant, like a lot of it has to do with our upbringing. Like I'm reading all about like Bell Hooks, all about love, and just
hmm
like how the way that we love, or like how our upbringing and the way that like we were loved by our family is reflected in the way that we love other people. And if
oof,
we don't, if you know, if we didn't receive the kind of love that was protective, that was respectful, that was understanding, that was like committed, like then how are we going to show that commitment to like others?
ooh,
You know,
that hits. Yeah, that hits me super hard
yeah,
in my life, and like that might be the answer right there.
yeah,
Like partially at least, it's like
right.
there's a lot of young men that are being raised by hip hop and the streets. Like,
Not to
and
their fault of their own, not like often, and I
they're
will
not
say like it's not a lot of like it's not their fault that like their
right.
parents are fucking music in, like you said, the streets, because intentionally so, right? But
Right. Well,
yeah, if
I'm
we
gonna
knew how
take
to
this
love
up. You got it.
better, dude. No, I'm just like, if we knew how to love better, like we'd do
Mhm.
better.
Facts, and that is the journey that we are on. Like I know for me, I think about that a lot. It's just
Oh
like trying to learn to love better myself, my mom, my partner, my friends. We just trying to learn to love better because love is the best. And when you do love better, like all parts of your life, the
yeah.
frequencies raise up. Um, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
use
I think
this
we'll change
opportunity.
though. Like, if you knew better, you do better. Like, no, if you love better, you do
I like
better.
that. Switch it up on them.
Yeah.
I do want to use this opportunity that if any male man is watching this, step up and protect women. Like call out other dudes who are drawing. Like be there. Um, talk to women about it. Talk to men about it. It's a very important topic. There's a lot of pain that stems from
Yeah.
women just not feeling safe and men not willing to step up. And yeah, it's hard. It's definitely not easy, but the best things in life
Yeah.
aren't easy. And like yeah, it's a great feeling like when you do see someone that you love, someone putting like negative energy onto them or harming them, to just like go and try to make a difference. Put your ass
Yeah.
out there. If you get your ass beat, like we've all got our ass beat before, I guess not. But
I mean, it doesn't even require of like, I'm not even saying like be like, you just
sometimes,
don't want to wait until the whistle's blown where it's too late for you to try and do something.
right. Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, try to make a difference. It's important. it means so much to the person that you're helping, and it helps you so much. Like,
Yeah.
sticking your neck out there for someone you love,
Yeah.
and you don't even gotta love them. Just if you see, abuse happening, helping people who are being abused is powerful in so many ways.
And sometimes people have to reflect on like why they haven't in the past. Like step
Facts.
one is like reflect on like why, like what
Yeah,
is it, like why for so long like people have just like been sitting back, like what is it like innately, and like that person was saying, it's like maybe it's the resentment of like a family structure, maybe it's like your own internalized like fear of men fear other men,
it's true.
you know. And so you don't even want to like associate. So yeah, I think like understanding where that's rooted in, like why do you not feel like solidarity with women?
Yeah, this was good. This gave me a lot to think about too. They're like, that's why I fuck with you, Marge. You always. So yeah, I want to talk about your family because your family's fire. Okay. What does it mean to be Dominican? And tell me about the importance of your family.
What does it mean to be Dominican? I mean, I can't answer that question without acknowledging that one, I was born in Puerto Rico and raised in the United States. So to be Dominican by like heritage, but American by nationality and like upbringing, it's to exist in this constant flux of like never enough here and never enough there. Like in Dominican Republic, I'm the American cousin, like I'm the American, and here I'm the Dominican.
Facts.
Which both are true. I am both things, but I'm never what I need to be in the space that I am. And like, that's trippy.
I can relate to that in some way.
Yeah, it's trippy, but it's beautiful. Like the fact that I speak Spanish and I dance bachata, like the fact that I can tap into like a whole other culture of music and food and like just lifestyles, and it's like family's got horses if I want it, you know what I mean? Like I can tap into that part of me that like when I go, I know is in me because I feel connected to that island in a way that like only existing or being there makes sense, But yeah, to be Dominican in America and then to be American in Dominican Republic, like that's two different things.
It really is. I've like growing up, I'm half black, half white. So for years, I was either always the darkest person in the room or the lightest person in the room. And it was just like always true. I was either always playing basketball with all black balls. I was just the light skinned ball, or I was playing baseball with all mostly white people. And it was just like, who am I? Like what's happening? And
where do you exist?
So, yeah, I can definitely relate to that. It is trippy. It's not like, I mean, I am Italian, but I'm definitely not nowhere near as connected to my Italian-ness as you are to your Dominican-ness, if that makes sense.
Well, something that I've been, really tapping into too is this like idea of like Afro-Latinidad.
Tell me about it.
So it's it's honoring my African descendancies, like, and my Latin heritage, because when people, the census, for instance, like Latin people, like Hispanic people were under the census considered white. Only during like and this was around like the segregation era with like schools, a way for the US to keep schools all white was to classify Hispanic and Latinos as white and put them with the black students.
Oh, wow.
So now they're saying they've integrated schools because they've got black kids and white kids. But they're all like Latinos and Hispanic students. And so, and that's right. but also, you know, and that's just something that like I learned like in college. So like
Right.
that's a whole other thing. It's like being Dominican in the United States and not learning my history until like much later, much later, and not even knowing like the depths of U.S. colonization in Puerto Rico until much later. And like, who would I be as a person if I've known my history a long time ago? Who would we all be as people if we knew our history the right way
Right.
a long time ago?
That's powerful.
Yeah. So like tapping into like Afro-Latinidad is like making sense of my experience as a negrita, as they would call it. Because it's, you know, I was constantly getting, they're like, oh, you're like La Negra of the family. I'm like, so I'm black? And they'll be like, no, you're Dominican. I'm like, but negra literally translates to black.
Right.
So like, so what?
What's going
And
on
it's
here?
what, right? Like what? And the Dominican and the slave trade and next to Haiti and wait, but you know what I mean? So it's been being Dominican has been like a huge like learning journey too. Especially now that I have control over my education and what I want to learn about history just in general. And identity and being like being Dominican is a heritage or whatever, and like race, being black or white, that's a race. That's separate. It's two separate things.
Definitely.
It's like two different things. Like you can be white and Puerto Rican. You can be black and Puerto Rican. Like you could be black and Dominican. It's just like,
yeah, and that's, you know, that's something they won't teach you. Like you gotta.
Because it benefits us to exist in a binary of like
Right.
it's a lot easier to exist in this like binary understanding of race. That is how it was built.
Well, it benefits the powers that be.
For sure.
Yeah.
Once we start being like, no, I'm like you and you're like me and we're all from here.
A lot more similarities and differences.
It's a lot more similarities and differences.
Like
but
so many more.
I got like the scientific name for plantains tattooed on me. So
Hey,
that's what being Dominican's like. Yeah, just eating a ton of plátanos.
Yeah, we've been getting busy down here.
Yeah,
so many.
Dude. What's your favorite way to have them?
Whoops. Oh, what's my favorite way to have them? That's
sweet, ripe, tostones, like what?
Oh, well, that's tough. Yeah, I think I do.
Tough question. I'm hitting you with the hard ones.
It is, but we've been actually we've been getting busy with the green plantains, which has been, you know, I've never really got down with those. It's better for me because so I buy all these yellow delicious plantains, take them home, and by the time you get them home, they get bruised up real quick, and it's like. Dang, like we get them in bunches. Like, we go to the market and we just go.
And
crazy.
It's still on like the stalk and shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So you can just like stack up if they're green. If they're yellow, you got to be like super. Like you got to treat them like a little baby. You might nick them Johns up. Like, but yeah, like we just I don't know. We just throw them in. Honestly, so we've been eating a lot of soups. Throw them in the quinoa soup. With whatever greens. Yeah, we've been eating a lot of quinoa soup, plantains, and like, yo, Tamar found this recipe. I'm putting it out there. It's like, I don't know how, like, it's just like all these sweet plantains and just like some chicken and some greens. I feel like that's it. And it's like the sweetest, most delicious soup. What? Oh yeah, it was an accident too. Like it was not. Yeah, like, it was just an accident.
It was just like this is what we got.
This? Bro, plantains, all these sweet plantains in the soup, it makes the water taste crazy. A little bit of hot sauce, bruh.
We really know when it comes to like that comfort food, that like hearty, like you only need a little bit and that knocks you out. You got that.
Yeah, like I would like get a side of plantains when I get like Jamaican food. Like I ain't really until I came down to where they exist just naturally.
Oh, to have it like
Like,
as a meal, like as part of your meal versus
yeah,
just
like
like a side.
I never like traditionally cooked plantains and them
Yeah.
Jones. Like I could just walk over there and just show you all these bunches. Like
Do
we
you know how to
bunched up.
peel them now? Like the
Like,
Greek, can you
oh
peel them?
yeah,
You good with
cut
it? You good with
yeah,
it?
of course. Cut them in
Yes.
the middle. Cut the big easy.
That's like our rite of
I'm the sous chef.
passage. It's
Hey,
like, here, cut the
yeah.
peel these plantains. Or, all right, Grandma. Like, I hope I don't fail you.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Like, I was just like, tomorrow's like it's like this and this, and I was like, bet.
Yes.
And by the second one, I was already a pro.
It's not an easy feat. It's not easy.
I guess it's not. I mean, I
I
don't know, with
mean,
a
you
knife.
maybe you're just not. You just got it, but
Do you use a knife, right?
yeah. But you know, it's hard to get the right kind of pressure to like pull it all the way down and to
Right.
peel it
Yeah, sometimes
off.
you can get
Like
too much. Yeah, you
sometimes
get
you
too
get too
much, too
much,
little.
and then it just starts to get then you start like just peeling pieces off of it, and it doesn't look.
Yeah. It's even
You want
harder
that?
with the. I don't know if you use green plantains. It's even harder
Oh,
with the
that's what
green
I'm saying with
plantains.
the green. No,
Yeah.
the sweet plantains you could just like
Okay. Oh, yo, you're
kind
right.
of the sweet plantains you could peel them Jones off like a banana, really.
Facts.
But you know, it's the
Okay.
green plantains that like require a little
No, you're
skill.
right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
gave and still gives me a hard time. Like you gotta
You'll get
super
there.
like thoughtful.
Yes. Dude, even just like getting white rice right.
Right. Yeah. Rice.
It's
That's a
just
whole.
stuff that I'm like, I think I got it. I think I
Right.
got it. But it's one of those things I'm like, ancestors, please. I'm
Help
calling
me.
upon you to make this
Yeah.
like perfect like pot of white rice, please.
My rice game was always pretty trash, to be honest. Actually, like I moved rice out of my diet, all quinoa with it. Like I'm going
Mm.
heavy with the quinoa. That's like I think that
Mm.
just like aligns with my stomach more. If there's
It's
some things.
lighter on the tummy.
Yeah.
Smart.
Oh
You're listening
man.
to your body.
Yo,
That's necessary.
I have
Yeah.
been listening to my body, and that has done me wonders.
And you're
And
in a place where people, I think, like have more control over like what they're growing, what they're eating, and like are more conscious of like what they're intaking.
yes and no.
Mm.
I feel like people, Ecuadorians, are definitely like more connected to their roots, for sure. So it's just like there's information that's more passed down as far as like I don't know. I have no knowledge of any of my like past my
Mm-hmm.
parents. I got nothing. Like, but there is like, unfortunately, the empire came to Ecuador, and like a lot of food in Ecuador is like sprayed with the bullshit of these
Mm-hmm.
big factory farms, and you do have to like, consciously ask people and search for like there is organic food. There is like a movement, a circle.
Yeah.
Indigenous like the indigenous people in Ecuador make their voices heard, which is really cool. I think it's either the first or the second highest population of indigenous people. And
Oh, like in South America or
in South
okay.
America, yeah. Like I don't know about Africa.
Yeah, I'm like in the whole world. Like
Yeah,
what?
like yeah, people are still like connected, like Quechua, still people connected to how they lived hundreds, thousands of years
Yeah.
ago within that realm. But and like oil companies and gas companies came in and like wreaked havoc,
Mm.
and the indigenous people had to experience these atrocities, these traumas, but they organized, they linked with certain people, like I'll say like white rich people, and like there was like a bond of like first, okay, like first it was like they were all about war. They just tried to fight each other, fight everything, and then they realized it's like, oh, we can't defeat these massive companies with all of their funds and tanks
Mm.
and blah blah blah. So they started doing it through knowledge, and they connected with people who cared. And there's these like it's called there's one thing called Pachamama I learned a lot about. It's pretty much like older white people who've realized that like the way that our trajectory is going way too far out of balance, and they
Mm-hmm.
connected with tribes in like the Amazon who have been harmed, and they like help each other. So they taught them all about like like what a lawyer is, how to use a lawyer, how to fight back, and how to try to do ecotourism, how to kind of push these assaults back without like fighting.
By creating their own
And
system.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
like, it's been very effective in some ways, but it's still like, the power of the empire is tough. But I say also to say is that the indigenous people like came together. A lot of different tribes
Yeah.
came together and like they use their political might. Like they'll go protest, they'll go shut shit down, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Like there's a strong indigenous undertone. Um,
That's awesome.
whew, yeah. With all that being said,
Yeah.
so
I get like,
so
well, so you also asked like, what is the importance of my family? Like, my family means
yeah,
everything. Like,
it
as
does.
in, I mean, I have the typical immigrant story, right? Where my parents were in their early 20s. My dad had just finished like med school, was like
Mm.
a doctor. My mom had just gotten like her degree, I think, in like tourism and hospitality. And like, they gave all of that up to move to the United States. And my dad was like working in a coat factory
Wow.
after like literally delivering babies in Dominican Republic, like came here to just like work in a coat factory and then work their way up. And then they spent like over 20 years doing that until they felt that my sister and I were, had our feet on the ground enough. And now they're like, all right, peace out. We're going back to the Dominican Republic. We've done our job here.
Oh, word?
Yeah, they're moving back, and like rightfully so. They're cashing
Ooh.
their check. They're cashing their American check and being like, all right, our
Wow.
children. That's the immigrant check, I would
Right.
say. Like, our children are good. We're going back home, and we're out.
Wow.
So what my family means to me is like, I live my life to ensure that their sacrifices were for something, and that is both like our what is it our the cross that we carry as immigrant
Right.
children, and also like my greatest like um I wouldn't say like because I haven't really accomplished anything yet,
You
but
have.
I would say it's what I'm like extremely proud of too, is to say that like I am a daughter of immigrants, and yes, this world is not what they thought it would be, but I have the foresight and insight to know that and do better by them, by the world, by like myself, by other people, because they did give me this opportunity,
Mm.
and
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
they
mm.
mean everything. And dude, my family is everybody's family. Like,
Yo, bro, I like your
like
graduation party. Like, I had a couple like amazing experiences with
just
your
like in my
parents.
parents' basement, like so many moments, so many. And I'm gonna miss that a lot.
Right, that's real.
And yeah, and I'm blessed to be able to like have a home that my parents created that I can bring all my friends to. To be
Mm.
like, yeah, Dad, I'm gonna have a barbecue with about like 10 of my friends. That's cool, right? And he's like, absolutely.
Yo,
Just
he
like
loves it. Yo,
day
your dad
before,
loves
buying
it.
all the meat. Like, see, it's calling me. It's like meat season, like ready to go. What time you coming? Like, they love it.
I know, it's
They
so
love
cool.
it.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
turning into
beautiful.
them because I'm like, everybody come to my house. Like, I'll make dinner. Like, we'll play dominoes at my crib. Like, just turning
Right.
into them.
Yeah, you always were, as far as I'm concerned. Now you just got a crib. Yeah.
Right. To just be them.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, they mean
That was
everything.
beautiful. So now I want to, go into the depths, which I know is going to be hard, and we've talked about this prior. But
Yeah.
yeah, like loss. I just want to like I know it's going to be hard for you, and I really appreciate this. But you know, Stephanie Arazo, Dorinda Ma, they're two like amazing human beings, and you were very close with both of them. And unfortunately, they both passed on to wherever they are now. And I just like to give you whatever to speak on the beauty of those two souls, your relationship, and like like maybe the coping mechanism for what to share how you feel
Yeah.
like, it's I know it's very hard.
I mean, the beauty of those two people like doesn't even need to be. It's hard to even encompass. Like for those that did know them, like
I know
it's
so
hard
true.
to encompass like them. They felt like super beings, super people like on Earth, and to them for them to not be here anymore just gives them even this grander like super power, like super presence. Because it really is hard to come to terms with the fact that people with that much light, that much like potential, that much just love, just that much everything.
Right. So much good
For
within both
so
of them.
much good from one day to the next is just like not there anymore. And like, how do you process existing and knowing that like just like that. But because their fire burns so hard and for so like in such a pure way, it's not like that it's gone. Like that's how they continue and that's how they remained. And that's how like I've learned to cope with it in knowing that like I was blessed. Like it's the only way that I can like I was just blessed to have experienced both of them in the time that I did. I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna let you, say more wherever how you feel. But like I feel that same way and like, you were close friends with them. I maybe brushed shoulders a little bit. Like Steffi, I think I never like hung out with her one on one. Definitely like it was some friend group. But she was just so happy and like joyful all the time. It was almost like seemed impossible. And like Dorinda I got to hang out with more. That was my fucking dog. Like, yo, like literally the way I met her, like Gabby would just like show up to Park Ave with like a bell rolled and like a six pack and just like and like one day like I opened the door, it's just Gabby and Dorinda, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, what's up? And like they would do like a couple times, like Dorinda would just pop up. We just sit on our couch, kick it, and I was like, who
Fantastic.
is this person?
Yeah,
Like I
right.
fuck with her so heavy from like the jump, and like she was so nice. Like we had a really good connection every time we hung out, and it's just kind of unbelievable. It's like I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I mean the circumstances of that really rocked my fucking world. Um it really rocked my fucking world in a way that no one's ever ready for. Um
Yeah.
I don't, I'm still processing. I'm like, every day is still like a time of processing, and you're never the same. Like, all I could, like, I'm not the same person because of them, because of knowing them. Like, I've forever changed to have like been in their presence. And again, like that, I say that I'm blessed for that. But in their absence, I'm also like never the same. Because we're young, like to experience like grief and death that young and that often, or that like
In
kind of like
succession.
in succession, yeah, and in such a tragic way too. I wasn't prepared for it. Still am not. I feel like there was a period in my like short after that where I had so much anxiety just of like who's next. And I lived that like every second of the day. Just like fearing every moment, like, my partner at the time like rode a motorcycle. It's just like the fear of like, oh my God, the fear of my parent, like any little thing, just like I was consumed by like grief and like anxiety and just like not wanting to feel that feeling again. But like feeling it like in my throat, like it was just like like you turn the corner and it's right there, because that's what it felt like, right? You're just like walking and then you turn the corner and you're like, what, like that, you get a phone call and then you're just like, wait, what? Like,
so deep.
It's a lot. But I see so much of like beauty in this world. Like I see and I think of Dorinda. I see and I think of Steffi. And it's like, we're all, the only thing for certain is that we're all not going to be here.
It's true.
But the fact that they existed with such light, such like joy, such like purity, that goes on forever. That expands beyond like their lifetime.
Yeah,
So how do we, so like what's our responsibility as individuals, as people that still are kicking and breathing, to make sure that when we're gone, like we leave at least a fraction of like what they left behind, is what I hope. But
well,
it's hard.
Thank you so much, Margy. Wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I really can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like,
I mean, it's
like every time.
lost. We've all, go ahead. Sorry.
No, like every time like it comes up again, it's just like kind of like unbelievable all over again in my head. I'm like, but like that's real. That's reality. That really happened, and I can't imagine it being like one of my closest friends, like and just somebody. So they're both so special. Both so special. I don't like.
Will always be.
Will always be right.
And we are so blessed. We're so blessed.
Yeah, definitely.
To have experienced them and loved them and shared like this space with them, and
I agree.
Yeah.
Like every time that I spent time with them, it's been like you said, a blessing. It's always just good. It's always been good vibes. Like both of them. It's crazy. Like I feel like they're one of those people that like you think back and it's like have they ever been angry? Like have they ever like
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like, I can't
You're like,
imagine
how do
Steph
you
like snapping on somebody. Like it's like, and like I said, like I didn't choose a mutual friend through friends, but like the energy was just like, how is this real? How are you so happy and
magnetic.
joyful? Yeah.
Magnetic and so beautiful.
Yeah, well, I hope that wherever their souls and their spirits are, it's in a good place. And maybe they're listening. Who knows?
Oh,
Maybe
I know it for a fact. There you
go.
I like tap into, like before bed, just like sometimes you like tap in, just like try and have a conversation. And then, they've like showed up in dreams at times, and that's always comforting.
Right.
Yeah, like matter is neither created nor destroyed. They're still everywhere.
Wow. You're right. You are so right.
They're still everywhere. Yeah.
Whew. Okay, so Margery, like you said,
I know.
You said you have walked through the fire in multiple regards. And we spoke last week and your energy was just like fire. Like I was just like, it was so good. Like, cause like we talked about earlier, we hadn't talked in a while.
Yeah.
And I was just asking you questions and you just passionate and it's, it gave me life. So I just want to know, like I said, you walk for the fire. What's up with Margy these days? Like, where you at? What's going on? Headspace, real life space, whatever.
All the
What's
spaces.
good with you? Yeah.
So I'm like bullet point version. So I not too long ago, shout out to myself, got my master's in
Hey.
urban education, and then shortly thereafter found a job in nonprofits and realized that nonprofits really aren't the wave when at least the ones that like I had experienced operated by people that don't have the cultural competence to understand that in order to eradicate the systems that they want to eradicate, you've got to call out systemic racism and what that is and how that's affecting our communities. Just like there. But I left that and am now at a community center writing grants to pretty much like shed light on like food sovereignty, like the importance of food sovereignty, sustainability that's environmental and social and economic, that like just creating like a system outside of the ones that we currently exist in, because we can't continue to like exert energy trying to like call out what we already know isn't working for us. And that's kind of something that I was talking to you about. It's like, it's exhausting to constantly like call things out. And that's what I realized with where I was at. I'm like constantly calling things out and things aren't happening. So like yeah, it's just like, okay, like why exert my energy here when I can just like be doing it with people that are here. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just like chilling in hammocks, writing grants. I was rock climbing yesterday, making dinner for the homies. Yeah, you know, like living in abundance, like making space for myself in my home, living by myself for the first time ever in my life. So yeah, so this is the first time ever in my life that I'm like living alone. I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice.
Right. That's some sovereignty in that.
Yeah, I mean, there was fear in it. There's a lot of fear in it, especially in a time of like extreme isolation. But it forced me to work on me. Like I could have easily spiraled into this like toxic, like healing behavior where I'm like healing through things that don't benefit me. Like drinking or whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, well, now it's just me and myself and my thoughts and these books. So the Marge that you're seeing now is somebody that like spent a lot of time with herself and her thought and her books.
Yo, spending time with yourself, like knowing how to effectively
and enjoying it. And enjoying it. Because people, you know, like we'll spend time, we'll be like, yeah, I'm alone, but I'm miserable. Like, no, I'm alone and I'm having a great time.
That's beautiful.
So that's
well, keep it up, cuz.
You too. You're out here.
That's the plan.
I can't wait to visit you.
Yo,
can't wait to visit you tomorrow. Oh yeah.
Please do.
Oh yeah.
You would love it here, dog.
Like, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
and you speak Spanish,
sure.
so you just like, yo, you sheesh.
Wrapping it up. Yes.
Come through. So we're gonna end this with a wild question.
A wild question. Okay.
Maybe not that wild. For me, if someone asked me this off the string, I'd be like, damn, cuz.
Let's do it.
What is your purpose in life?
What is my purpose in life?
It's a hard one. Whatever comes.
No, I mean, it's a great one because we're all trying to find it, and like we're all like on that quest. And if you haven't found it, it's a hard question to be like, damn, I don't know, man. Like, I haven't really. You put me on the spot because I don't know, man. No, but I think my purpose in life, honestly, I think that so long as I continue to like live by my truth, like that in and of itself would cause ripple effects of purpose. It's not just like one simple, it's how can be, it's being of service in like whatever way, like for myself and my people. Yeah, it's being of service. And like what that looks like, it right now looks like writing grants. Right now it looks like teaching like environmental sustainability. Right now it's like getting clay in the hands of more Black and brown people. Right now it's like buying all
Speaking
these
your
books,
truth
speaking
on
my
for the
truth,
homies.
speaking my truth, buying books and being like, yo, read this book. Check this book out, like sharing knowledge, like creating space, like making people laugh, like all of those things are a part of like a purpose that like causes ripple effects towards somebody else's purpose, hopefully, like helping other people find their purpose. Like I love that too. I don't know.
Beautiful. I could definitely say that you have been of service to me.
Cool.
I cherish our friendship, like,
Thanks.
you know, the depths of whatever's up there or in there, all around here. Yeah, we've
And
had
I
a
will
lot of
say,
good
Ian,
times.
there's so much growth in you that that I like can see now. I truly can see like a lot of
Hey,
growth in you too.
igualmente. Ya tú
Gracias,
sabes,
amigo.
no hay
Gracias.
problema.
With the ya tú sabes. Okay. Yo
That's
te
my
veo. I
shit. That's
see
my
you.
shit.
Yes. Like, yeah. You got the que lo que. And be like, que lo que. But what's
¿Qué
up?
lo que?
Yeah, que lo
Is
que is
that
what's up.
Dominican?
Yes.
Sí,
Is
sí.
that Dominican? Yeah.
I'm trying to, no, I'm learning. They're like,
Yeah.
"Callando, way." I just learned Mexican. Callando, way. Like,
Órale, güey.
órale,
Yeah.
órale. Sí, 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 sí,
Yeah,
sí.
Spanish has its variations, dude.
Oh, it's a little different
Get on it. You'll
everywhere
get
you
on it.
go.
Yeah, you'll be on it.
No, sí, sí, sí. Estoy mejorando, you know.
Lo estás haciendo muy
Aprendo
bien, aprendiendo.
todos los días.
There you go.
Sí, sí,
And
sí.
you're living it, so it's easier for
Sí,
you.
yeah.
You're not just like grammar, vocab. You're like thinking
Yeah.
practically and like in conversation. So
It's amazing.
you'll
Me
just be busting it
encanta
up
mi
with my
vida.
dad. You'll be busting it up with
Oh,
my dad in no
yo
time.
quiero. I still
Un día.
I talk like
Un
a
día.
7-year-old, and but
7-year-olds talk.
it's true.
7-year-olds make sense. 7-year-olds
Claro.
communicate. It's all good.
Yeah. Definitely you know, starting to understand a lot more, which is really cool. Like hearing
Yeah.
people talk,
Is
that's
it
like
easier to like understand that? Yeah, I'm
so
sure.
much
Like
more.
once, yeah.
Yeah, especially like the way I say it. No, man, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna try to say this whole thing in Spanish, but whatever.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Cuando una Ecuadorian es hablando a Ecuadorian, y no entiendo, no, muy rápido, no. Pero cuando un Ecuadorian hablando un extranjero, I said it, extranjero,
What is
foreigner,
extranjero?
extranjero. Entiendo.
Un poco más.
Sí. Quizás 60%. I don't know percent. Like,
Eso es bueno.
Sí. I'm
Eso
ticking.
es
Like,
bueno.
tomorrow be having conversation. Like every time tomorrow's a conversation, it's like a lesson for me. I'm like, what y'all saying? Looking up words.
Context
trying to
clues.
Yeah,
Like...
exactly. Yo, it's really fun. And yeah, I can like, you know, I was by myself for a month in Peru, and everything I need, I can get food and directions and all that. But as far as like having real conversations, like I talked to somebody for like 2 minutes and they're like, all right, like I'm tired of talking to this 5-year-old. Right.
I mean, making the choice to like live somewhere where you don't have the connection of the language, that's tough.
It's definitely tough.
That's
it's like
tough.
Also mad exciting though. Like
yeah.
Like it's like I feel like my brain, like it's always just like something new. There's always just like, oh, what's this? Learning. Ooh, that's and it's like
I wonder if that's how
always
like
keeps me going.
It's kind of like how like how like 1-2-year-olds I'm sure are when they start hearing words. But they're like, words? What are you pointing at? What are you holding when you say the word? What is like? How do I repeat the word? And it's like that's how they learn. Like just like the constant.
That's how I feel. I always say that. Like when I was in Thailand, I didn't learn really. I learned like a couple words, but I would say I felt like a baby. Like just being in Thailand, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like I feel like a baby, and like now I've been here for a couple months, and I'm like, I feel like maybe I'm like
And now
6
you're
or 7
toddler.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
now you're like
Like
up.
I'm learning the
You've
word
leveled up
dad.
from baby phase. You've gone to the bathroom on, you know how to say that you're going to the bathroom. You can get like
See,
your directions. You've leveled up.
yeah, a couple levels. So it's been fun, and I love this. I love new experiences and
Yeah.
learning and growing. So, and it's freaking beautiful here. Like the vibe is right.
Yeah.
So that's always Ecuador. Like people here are just very like tranquilo, relaxed. Like they keep this to
La vida
themselves.
suave. La
See,
vida suave.
see.
It's
But like
like,
also like passionate about the things that are important to them, which is cool. Just like it's very different. Like from like say like Cuba or Colombia, where the people are just like like just energetic all the time. Like I have a friend Cuban who lives in Cuba, and Tamar asked was like, "Do introverts live there?" And he was like, "No, nah, it's like just all extroverts all the time." Like, but like Ecuador people like chill, like about their business. The whole energy here is very nice and it's beautiful, and they're open to foreigners, but they're thoughtful about it as well.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so far, definitely not. It hasn't been perfect by any means. There's been a lot of struggles and things to
Yeah.
learn, this and that, but
Adjustment.
I'm
It's the
loving
adjustment.
it.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that for you. I
yeah,
love
I
that for you.
appreciate it.
I don't know where, I will settle in this world, but I do feel like it has to be somewhere where like tranquility is key. And a lot of
Facts.
that comes to me, I think, with like not owing anybody shit.
Right. I like that.
So wherever it is that I go, it'll like I own the land, I grow my food.
That's what we look. That's what we're trying
Like,
to do.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
mission. We searching for the spot. We
Are
already
you
know
think you
exactly.
looking there? You're looking in Ecuador?
Yep. It's like right
Oh,
now Ecuador's the spot, and then we got like Mexico. There's a little backup. Mexico's looking good too. But first we're gonna see what we can do. But yeah, we trying. We we looking into what we want to plant, learning how each thing grows, how you space it. This goes here, what seasons. Like we trying to have land. We're trying to be able to just eat off of our land. Like take the
yeah,
avocado right here, pick the sweet
yeah,
potato, tomato right here, and
yeah,
get it popping.
yeah. And I don't understand why us being able to do that is such an issue. Like
Right. It's
why
like the
ownership?
big.
Like why is it such an
Oh,
issue? Why is
right.
land sovereignty such a fucking issue?
They
Because
don't
it's
want
the
people
key
free.
to freedom. Yes, that part
Exactly.
is the key to freedom.
Right.
Like we
It's
know,
like,
jinx. Yeah.
bro. I mean, we don't need to get into all this, but like
Right.
people say like people's like, oh yeah, like United States of America is free. You have freedom. It's like no, you have some freedoms. You don't have
mm-hmm.
freedom. It's the difference between having some freedoms and freedom.
Mm.
And the reason
Mm-hmm.
we have the freedoms we have is because it's profitable to the people that are eating billionaires, trillionaires. If the second that our freedoms aren't profitable to them, they gonna take them shits back. And I'm trying to get my freedom away from that bullshit. So
Yeah, I mean, because
wish
to
me
get
luck.
freedom within the system is still being a part of it. Like there's
Exactly.
no such thing as freedom within a system that oppresses you.
Exactly. And it like, yeah, you're right. And it's difficult. It's a hard one to go against the beast because
But that's the purpose, right? Because you do
right.
it, you live by example, and that causes then other like
Yeah, exactly.
my first time being at One Art, where I'm currently at, was like seeing in person this vision that I had in my head that was not possible.
Wow.
It's like this, but like how can we like have our own like farms and our own stage and our own like compound? Like how? I haven't seen that in practice, but I've
Right.
envisioned it. I've dreamt of it. I've like desired it, and then seeing it in person, being like, oh, and that caused a ripple effect in me. Then I quit my job. Then I was like, oh, I'm never, like, it just completely opened up my ideas to like what was capable. And that was just them existing in their truth, like existing how they want to exist. Now, that's a ripple effect that we're talking about. Now I'm existing in that. And when I'm doing that and being like, yeah, I'm in a hammock writing grants and I'm living my life, then other people are like, dang.
I know. That picture
For
was
real?
fire.
That's fire. Like, that's fire.
Yeah.
And then maybe they and that's exactly how it happened. And then people were hitting me up like, yo, did you really quit your job? How'd you do it? I'm like, I sure did. And this is what I said. And this is how it happened. Da, 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 da. And then they're quitting their jobs. And then, and it's that's just it. It's the ripple effect. Oh yeah.
Like, strong. Like people are like, wait, like this don't make sense. This don't make sense.
It has never worked. It has never made sense. And we're just like riding this. Yeah, we're just riding the wave of like complacency for what?
Making my own waves. Yeah, we surfing, cuz.
I haven't learned. I want to like.
Yeah, I'm not good with like boards and balance, like skateboards, and I can barely roller skate.
I can't roller skate.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, being on wheels, like even driving, I'm not the best driver.
Well, at least you know. Stay safe, cuz.
We still be riding around and getting it, but in a little unsafe manner.
Oh gosh, Margy, damn, I love you. Thank you.
I love you.
Appreciate you. This is fun. This is so much fun. It's talking to the homies and like I feel like I've learned so much. Just like asking.
I'm honored to have been asked to be a part of this.
Yeah, well,
and to like be on the internets with the other homies.
Bro. and you gave us gems, and there's people that are definitely excited to listen to this, John.
Oh.
And,
hey, people, love you.
Yeah, love all y'all. Yeah, yo,
hey, people. What's up, people?
Watching this, John. That's really hot. This is really just like some fun I'm having. Like, it's really cool. So
right, it's really just homies having tea.
Having tea, like really, like just trying to, like I don't live in the States anymore. So it's a way to like connect to people I love.
Yeah, and let's do this more often.
Facts. Let's do it. Say no mas. Say no mas.
And I'm gonna see you in Ecuador.
Yeah, holla at me. Hit me up. Let me know. That was so fire. All right. Peace, Margy.
I love you.
Yeah, let's talk soon. Let's not let a year go by this time.
Not this time.
All right.
I love
peace.
you.
Love you too. Thank you. For the homies.